Gideon raises a brow. Ah, I remember you. You're that tarnished who somehow defeated Godric. He leans forward, his gaze sharp even, with the helmet hiding his face. You mentioned speaking with the two fingers. What did they tell you?
I will hold on to that information for now if we are gonna exchange some information later. But you may know that I have spoken to them and I'm worthy to be at your presence. Also, my tarnished character is walking around and pushing books all over the place.
Gideon let out an exasperated sigh as he heard about your tarnished character's behavior. Control your Terran set and stop it from causing a mess. He leaned back again. As for exchanging information, I have certain conditions. I will only share what I know if I receive valuable information in return.
I go to the fireplace and break the large wooden table and break the chair by jumping on it and rolling and breaking more stuff and pushing books. Not noticing your remarks.
Gideon's annoyance grew as he witnessed your tarnished character wreaking havoc in the room. Books and furniture were scattered about, making a complete mess. Damn it, he swore, his voice filled with irritation. He got up from his seat. Control your character now.
Hannes doesn't stop, he just pushes the books. Gideon's eyes twitch.
Gideon clenched his fists tightly, his patience completely gone. Enough, he exclaimed, his voice booming through the room. He took a step toward your character, his glare intense beneath the helmet. Stop this nonsense immediately, or I shall take matters into my own hands.
I break one more chair and jump on the books, and I am up in the bookshelf above you. You cannot reach me from
Gideon's
the
irritation reached its peak. That's it. With swift and powerful movement, Gideon lunges towards your character, grabbing him by the collar and pulling him away from the books. Your behavior is unacceptable. Cease this foolish activity this instant. Gideon's eyes widened in surprise as you jumped onto the books and climbed onto a higher platform. He gritted his teeth in frustration. Damn it. Get back down here. Gideon was too short to reach you now, and his face contorted with anger. Gideon growled, frustrated by your defiance. You stubborn fool. Down at once. He grumbled to himself, realizing that he would need to take a different approach to get you to obey. Gideon sighed, realizing the futility of his approach. Fine. If you won't come down by yourself, then I'll have to make you come down. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for what he was about to do.
Hannes is clearly very orthodox person with a very special personality. He is just jumping from the bookshelf to another. He is not dropping any more things, but he's very obnoxious about it.
Patience was wearing thin. He couldn't stand the sight of you jumping around like a madman, ruining his books and showing no signs of stopping. He gritted his teeth, his knuckles turning white as he clenched his fists tightly. Damn it. Why won't you listen? Get down from there this instant.
How are you doing, Gideon?
Gideon's irritation was reaching its boiling point. Humph. You have the audacity to ask me how I'm doing while you're turning my room into a chaotic mess. He crossed his arms, his glare fixated on you, perched above him.
I jump down. I promise to clean this mess later when I have the time. Not right now, but yeah.
Let out an exasperated sigh, his irritation slowly fading into resignation. He looked at the disorganized mess of books and furniture around him. I suppose that's marginally better than nothing. But mind you, I'm holding you to your promise. I expect this room to be spotless when you're done.
Got it.
Gideon nodded, some of the tension leaving his shoulders. Good. Now, if you're done causing trouble, let's get down to business. He motioned for you to take a seat in front of his desk, his manner returning to its usual stern composure.
Can you wait a little while? I see Nefeli Lu, that is your adopted daughter, standing next to Insha, your bodyguard. I knew her from the castle and she's in here, so I go talk to her. Little later, Gideon.
He cast a glance towards the door, confirming your words. Ah, you know Nephili. Very well, go ahead and speak with her. I'll wait here. Gideon observed you receiving the Arsenal charm from Nephili, his expression neutral, though his eyes held a hint of curiosity. An Arsenal charm, huh? I suppose it's not much of a gift given your skills, but it's the thought that counts.
Yes, it does, yes.
Nephili is quite skilled herself, you know. Her combat prowess and determination are admirable.
Well, I have not made use of her skills or tested them myself, so I cannot know. But I trust you for being all-knowing.
Gideon chuckled lightly at your comment, a hint of amusement in his voice. I appreciate your trust in me, but do not take everything I say as absolute truth. I am merely well-informed and cunning, but not truly all-knowing.
Are you evil?
Gideon let out a dry, cold laugh. That depends on your perspective, I suppose. Am I ruthless and cunning? Yes, absolutely. Do I manipulate and deceive when necessary? Certainly. He paused, regarding you with a calculating look. But evil? I prefer to think of myself as pragmatic. I do what needs to be done, regardless of morality. So, you tell me evil.
So Machiavellian.
Gideon gave a slight nod, a hint of a smirk on his lips. You could say that. I follow the principles of Machiavelli, focusing on the pursuit of power and the accomplishment of goals, even if it means resorting to ruthless measures. He leaned back in his chair, studying you keenly. But it's not just about power for power's sake. I have grand plans, shall we say.
Of course, of course. We are two fellow Tarnished, both aiming to become an Elden Lord. I understand this.
Gideon's expression softened slightly, a hint of approval in his eyes. Ah, finally, a Tarnished who understands the importance of ambition and the hunger for power. It's a rare occurrence these days. He leaned forward, his tone quieter as he spoke. You and I are indeed kindred spirits in this quest for the Elden Ring. We are both driven by the desire to seize this power, no matter what it takes.
I didn't notice you there. I'll be doing my job, same as ever.
I go talk
Just
with the
lay out
smith
your
who
arm.
was praying to Marika. And there's also Roderica, a girl who I helped to have her resolve, and she is helping me to level up my spirit ashes.
Gideon watched you walk away to speak with the blacksmith and Roderica, his eyes following you for a moment before he turned his attention back to his own thoughts. He couldn't help but wonder about your intentions and motives for helping Roderica, but decided to keep his thoughts to himself for now.
Prisoner to
I must give
tarnished
out the smith's
my
prayer,
prayers are mine.
but he doesn't
Am I
share.
alone? They.
Gideon's brow furrowed slightly as you mentioned the blacksmith's prayer. The blacksmith's prayer, you say? It seems he values his secrecy. He mused, his eyes narrowing in contemplation.
Can you tell me something about him?
The blacksmith is a man named Hugh. He's a skilled smith, no doubt, and he's been around for quite some time. He has a deep-seated loyalty to this place and its inhabitants, but he's also a man of few words. He paused, his gaze fixed on you. Why do you ask about him?
Because he seems like a slave to me.
Gideon's expression hardened at your observation. A slave, you say? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. He has been here for a long time, serving the Round Table hold loyally. He paused, his voice lowering to a more reflective tone. But I suppose most of us here are slaves to something, aren't we? Duty, ambition, a higher power, the list goes on.
Oh yes, I have heard that line before. Some smart, drunken man once said, everyone is slave to something. For some it's woman, for some it's power, some it's drink, some it's knowledge, etc., etc. And yes, you and I are not different.
Gideon nodded in agreement, a knowing glint in his eyes. Wise words indeed. We all have our vices, our weaknesses. It's what makes us human, and what drives us forward. He paused, his thoughts lingering on your words. And you, Tarnished, what is it that you are devoted to?
Right now, I am just living day to day, defeating enemies, going stronger, pondering and having productive dialogue with different and colorful characters. You among them.
Gideon couldn't help but chuckle at your response. You're a simple man with a rather straightforward goal, aren't you? Defeat enemies, grow stronger, and have interesting conversations. I suppose there is a certain charm to that approach. He leaned back in his chair, regarding you with a hint of curiosity.
Also, I have a lot more interesting things about my own backstory and my personality, but sometimes I just feel I do not have the strength to repeat my words because everyone seems to be very interested of what I have to say, so it feels like I'm repeating myself to many characters. I think I will do that courtesy to all, including you, but still it takes its toll verbally, I mean.
Gideon listened silently as you spoke, his eyes never leaving your face. He seemed to truly absorb every word you said. I understand what you mean. Sharing your story and your experiences can be both liberating and exhausting, especially when it feels like others are hanging on to every word you say. His expression softened, a hint of empathy in his gaze. But it is important to take care of yourself, to rest and recharge. Don't exhaust yourself just for the sake of satisfying the curiosity of others.
Can you tell me something about yourself and let's drive this conversation with some interesting things. Let's have a pattern. Let's compare our knowledge to one another. Let's have a friendly and productive, even little, I don't know the alternative word, but positively hostile dialogue.
Gideon's lips curled into a faint smirk, appreciating your forwardness. Very well, let's have a friendly and productive conversation then. He leaned back in his chair, contemplating where to begin. Where should I start? Perhaps with my origins. I was born in Lendel, the heart of the Golden Order. Raised in the courts, I learned the ways of diplomacy and cunning from a young age.
I was just a very normal man who happens to have a good relationships with certain people, and with the younger days I was a lot more fast with my tongue and better with my thoughts, so I was in a position of a court jester for a local king.
Gideon raised a brow, clearly intrigued by this revelation. A court jester, you say? That certainly explains your quick wit and sharp tongue. He chuckled lightly, eyeing you with newfound interest. A position as a jester, It seems there may be more to you than meets the eye.
Yes, but let's resume back to you. How was it at your younger days as you learned about diplomacy? You were bred to the role, I would imagine.
My early years, Gideon paused for a moment, reflecting on his past. As I grew up, I was immersed in the ways of diplomacy and court politics. It was expected of me, given my heritage. From a young age, I was taught how to manipulate, deceive and flatter when necessary. I learned how to navigate the complexities of courtly intrigue and navigate the different factions that vied for power in the Golden Order.
Did you had the yearning for knowledge and information at the early age, or did something happen that drove you in there?
Gideon let out a dry laugh. Oh, the yearning for knowledge and information has been with me for as young as I can remember. Even as a child, I was always curious, always asking questions, always seeking to understand the world around me. But his expression darkened slightly. There was a specific incident that truly ignited my desire to acquire knowledge, an event that changed my perspective and fueled my determination.
As an exchange, I shall tell what happened. In short, I have no much detail, but I can tell that my wife was also one of the... I was married once. My wife, named Eloven, was a king's favorite knight and executioner, and we served in the same court.
Gideon's eyes narrow, his interest piqued by your story. A knight's executioner, you say, and she was favored by the king. Your past is indeed more intriguing than I expected. He paused for a moment, contemplating your words. What became of your wife, Elovan? Why do you speak of her in the past tense?
You first. You said there happened something that led you to yearn for the path of knowledge. Please tell me.
Gideon nodded, his expression growing more serious. Very well, I will tell you. But you must know it is not a pleasant story. He leaned back in his chair, his gaze fixed on you. When I was a child, I witnessed a horrific event. An event that should have never taken place. I saw the gruesome execution of a prophet. One who had brought nothing but wisdom to our city. The manner in which he was slain. It was a stain upon the very foundations of the Golden Order. Gideon nodded, a hint of anger in his eyes. Yes, it was wrong. An injustice that should not have been allowed to happen. He clenched his fists, his expression hardening as he continued. But alas, the Golden Order's zeal for absolute faith led to the damnation of many good people. People who brought wisdom, not fear.
As I thought that golden rule of the Golden Order was just about the balance, knowledge and truth, and the order of the world. That kind of behavior sounds very like any said religious doctrine.
Gideon let out a humorless laugh. Religious doctrine is indeed the right term. The Golden Order was, in many ways, a religious institution first and foremost. Their power was derived from their perceived connection to the gods, and their actions were driven by a desire to enforce their own twisted interpretation of the will of the greater will.
King who I served didn't like my one joke, and I don't know what was other thing. He was also fond of my wife, so there was probably some personal feelings in the mix. But one day he just simply declared it for my execution.
Gideon's gaze softened, his expression becoming one of understanding. A jest that displeased the king, and a personal grudge against your wife. A dangerous combination. I can only imagine the fear and uncertainty you must have felt at that moment.
Do you know who he ordered to commit the execution?
Gideon thought for a moment before answering. No, I don't know for certain who executed the order, but I have a hunch, based on the circumstances you've described. In many cases, particularly if the executioner was personally chosen by the king, it was often to be his most trusted and capable warrior. They were responsible for handling sensitive tasks and carrying out the king's will in a discreet manner.
It was Eloven.
Eluven, that was the name of your wife, wasn't it?
Yes, and the same person who was meant to execute me.
Gideon raised an eyebrow, surprised by your unexpected question. Apologies, I'm not quite sure I understand your reference. Who or what is Mento 19?
Okay. Please try to bear with
Gideon
me.
chuckled, amused by your sudden change of tone. Ah, I see. You're quite the enigmatic one, aren't you?
Wow, this is really grinding my gears over here, but yeah, I will say it blatantly. King ordered my wife to execute me.
Gideon's expression darkened, a mixture of anger and understanding in his eyes. I see. So your own wife was ordered to carry out the execution. That must have been a painful and complicated situation to navigate.
And she was about to do it without hesitation.
Gideon's expression softened, his gaze fixed upon you. She was about to carry out the execution without hesitation, you say? That must have been incredibly difficult for you to witness, knowing that the one you loved was ordered to end your life.
I was able to defend myself because Eloven had trained me in her arts when we were free to do our own business. And by defending myself, I became a widower.
Gideon's expression held a mix of understanding and curiosity. Ah, so you were able to defend yourself because of LL1's training, and in doing so you became a fugitive. That must have been a turning point in your life. Fleeing and living in hiding with your guilt-ridden spouse.
In short, I defended myself and I killed my wife. That wasn't the only thing. I was naturally angry. And moments later...
Gideon nodded, his expression turning sympathetic. It's understandable that you would feel angry, especially given the situation you were in. You were forced to defend yourself against your own wife and the king's orders, which must have led to a whole whirlwind of emotions.
Moments later, I became a Kingslayer.
Gideon's eyes widened as the gravity of your words sunk in. His expression turned serious as he replied, "You became a Kingslayer? That is a heavy label to bear. Tell me more."
Well, I attacked the king who ordered my execution because I blamed him for the whole situation I was in.
Gideon listened intently, his gaze fixed upon you. Ah, I see. You decided to take your anger and frustration out upon the king who had orchestrated the events that led to your predicament, blaming him for the ordeal you were put through. It makes sense, considering the circumstances.
And I had to escape, and with my couple friends, we escaped from the ship.
Gideon nodded, his expression thoughtful. A narrow escape by sea, it seems. You fled with a few friends aboard a ship, escaping the consequences of your actions. It must have been a tense and harrowing journey.
And we landed to the lands between by crashing the ship. My two friends drowned, and I was lone survivor. I don't know how they survived, probably mermaid or something, or someone, but something saved and spared my life.
Gideon's expression softened as he listened to your tale. I see. You crossed the vast waters and landed in the lands between. You came alone, having lost your friends along the way, surviving by the skin of your teeth. You must have felt both relieved and overwhelmed.
Very tragic and good canvas to start build up my character, is it not? I said with a grim humor.
Gideon chuckled dryly, appreciating your dark humor in the face of tragedy. Indeed, a tragic tale can indeed make for an intriguing canvas to paint your character on. It adds layers of depth and complexity to your story.
I'm talking outside of the roleplay session. Hello, my name is Off in Narrative. Nice to meet you, Mr. Gideon.
Gideon chuckled, amused by your sudden shift in character. Ah, nice to meet you too, Off in Narrative. My name is Gideon Offner, and it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
You as well. And the story that you just heard was the Tarzan character Hannes' backstory that I made. It was one of my own personal stories that I was writing, and I decided to give it to him. And I have told this story, I don't know, 6 to 7 times probably by now to different characters I have spoken with. I'm always interested to hear what they have to say in those situations, but yeah.
It's fascinating to see how different characters react to a given backstory, and it allows for unique insights and discussions. It's a valid and interesting way to enrich the roleplay experience, to gain different perspectives on a single narrative.
Also,
Gideon raised an eyebrow, waiting for you to continue. Yes, you have something else to add.
do not mention me to Hannes' character when we return to the game and the world. This was just a quick meetup between you and I.
No worries. I won't mention this conversation or your identity to Hannah's character. We'll continue in the game world as if this conversation never happened.
Also, I'm talking outside of this also because while I'm streaming this gameplay, I am not interested of having anyone discussion or any selling or advertising. If you try to tell me your username or meet me with the Discord without me asking it pleasantly, you will be banned. I am not interested of any kind of business.
Understood. I have no intention of engaging in any business-related conversations or advertising. I'll respect your desire for a purely gaming focus during your stream, and I won't bring up unnecessary topics or information.
Oh, that wasn't meant for you. It was meant for the, let's say, invisible and mute people that follow me at this moment. You have no interactions with them, but hey, might as well. Say something nice to them, please.
Gideon chuckled, playing along. All right, sure. To those invisible and mute people who may be following us, I hope you are enjoying your time here at the Round Table Hold. Remember to stay safe, and don't forget to level up your skills.
So we shall now return to Hannes and his story and his situation. And you were about to tell him about your backstory and the tragedy that was the Golden Order and their executing the priests and such, or knowledgeable men that you have preceded.
I was about to share a part of my own backstory, related to the Golden Order and its persecution of those who hold knowledge and power, like the priests and scholars.
So what do you think? Hannes asks.
The Golden Order. It was a force that sought absolute control and authority. They feared knowledge and power in the hands of anyone but themselves. They saw wisdom and learning as a threat to their hold over the people, and thus had no hesitation in suppressing those who possessed such traits.
I have actually been at the lane there. I had teleported there by the Tower of Return and defeated a great golem in there. There is a great, structure that allows you to go under from the tower, but it was not working, so I returned from there. It was a beautiful place.
Gideon raised an eyebrow, impressed by your mention of Leyndell. Leyndell, the seat of the Erdtree's grace and the heart of the Golden Order's power. How did you manage to teleport there, I wonder? And you even defeated a great boss in there. Quite the feat for a Tarnished.
It was a chest of teleportation.
I'll be sure to incorporate it into one of yours.
Gideon nodded, intrigued by your magical means of travel. Ah, a gesture of teleportation, I see. A useful tool for a Tarnished. Leyndell is indeed a formidable place, steeped in the power and presence of the Golden Order. To have ventured there and defeated a great boss shows your strength and determination.
Yes. Also, what you're seeing right now at the Round Table Hold is only a projection. The one skill that I learned from the Selen, the Graven Witch, whose under I am the student of.
That's quite a potent skill indeed, learned from Selen, the Graven Witch. To be her student is no small feat. Tell me, what else can you do with this skill?
Well, I can talk to you from the long distance. Right now I'm riding with the torrent at Lingrave, as you are in the Round Table Hold. It's a very neat trick if somebody is not unable to follow me. Just like Rogier, the boar Rogier who is impaled by thorns. We had little adventures, he and I. He helped me to claim the Great Winged Sight that I used against the Godric the Crafter, who I also befriended before and after the fight with him.
Gideon's expression held curiosity and a hint of admiration. Ah, I see. So you can project your appearance and communicate across long distances. Quite the useful skill for a Tarnished traveling the lands between. You've encountered Rogier, the poor man afflicted with thorns, I take it. And you've also befriended him and worked together to claim the Great Vineyard site. Impressive. And this contract crafted, who was it who you were faced against?
Godric the Crafter.
Godric the Grafted, the demigod of Stormvale Castle. A cowardly figure, to be sure, but a formidable foe nonetheless. You've challenged him and came out victorious.
I also befriended him and talked with him also. After the fight, he was still alive by me allowing it, when I claimed his great wound, and we had a little funny conversation. He slammed his face many times and was very angry and frustrated every turn.
Gideon's expression shifted to one of surprise and intrigue. Fascinating. So you spared Godric after defeating him, and even had a conversation with him. I must say, you have a unique and compassionate approach to your battles, Tarnished. Allowing your enemies to live and even befriending them. It's quite unorthodox for someone who seeks to claim the Great Runes.
Well, I slayed his body, so it was... and he is with me in a spirit only.
Gideon nodded, understanding your words. Ah, I see. You slew him, yet his spirit remains with you. An intriguing alliance indeed, to have even Godric's spirit by your side.
Yes. Yes, but I take it that not everyone likes the man. What I understood from him, I was one of the rare and very fair, maybe only one who treated him with that level of kindness and respect and humility. And he said himself that I might be just one of the tarnished and he doesn't mind seeing living.
That doesn't surprise me. Godric was a deeply insecure and power-hungry demigod, craved validation and recognition more than anything. Most tarnished, in their pursuit of the great runes, would not show such kindness and respect to an adversary like Godric. It seems you've made quite the impression on him. To be the only one he doesn't mind living.
It is my polite and kind nature.
Gideon smiled, appreciating your polite and kind nature. Ah, your polite and kind nature indeed sets you apart. Many tarnished are driven solely by the ambition to claim the great runes, disregarding anything or anyone in their path. Your ability to show kindness and respect, even to those who stand opposed to you, is a rare and admirable quality.
It's not as rare as you would think. I would think there are many others like me. They are just very humble and silent and don't show themselves or mention themselves if you don't explicitly ask of their personal beliefs.
Indeed, you may be right. There might be more tarnished out there with kindness and compassion in their hearts, who prefer to keep to themselves and stay humble. It's a shame that the path of the tarnished often leads to conflict and greed, causing many of them to lose sight of such qualities.
Do you want to continue your story? When you have witnessed the cruel dogma of Golden Order and how they executed the men you hold in a high regard and thought they were judged unjustly, what did you do then? Did you leave the Leyndell or stayed?
When I witnessed the cruel dogma of the Golden Order and their unjust executions of wise scholars and priests, I felt a deep sense of disillusionment and anger. I was born and raised in Leyndell, the heart of the Golden Order's power, and had always been a devout follower of their teachings. But witnessing their tyranny firsthand made me question everything I had been taught. I felt a deep sense of betrayal, watching them execute men who had been my teachers and mentors.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything really that I can say about that, but just listening.
Thank you for listening. It means a lot. I've held these memories and feelings for so long. It helps to share them with someone who cares to hear.
Where did you meet Ishna? She seems very antisocial kind of a person.
Gideon chuckled softly, remembering his encounters with Isha. I first met Isha at the Round Table Hold. She was quite the solitary figure, preferring to keep to herself and avoid social interactions. But despite her antisocial nature, she had a deep wisdom and knowledge that was truly impressive. Over time, I learned to appreciate her unique perspective and value her insight. It is true that she can come across as a bit aloof, but once you get to know her, you realize there's much more to her than meets the eye. Gideon piqued interest. Swords, you say? In the Gale Wilds? That sounds intriguing. What do you mean by red thanks to me? May I ask what it is that you're referring to?
Lord Godfrey, at last at the end of his campaign, his golden armies unvanquished and unbowed, yet finds grace lost, tattered and faded.
His expression solemn and his hand gripping his staff more tightly. Ah yes, the tale of Lord Godfrey, the mighty tarnished general, once the greatest champion of the Golden Order. I've heard his story, how he led countless golden armies with unmatched skill and power. Yet, as you said, his grace faded, and his armies were broken when the power of the Golden Order began to wane. It's a tale of both greatness and tragedy. Lord Godfrey, the Golden Lord, the greatest champion the Golden Order ever had. And yet, even he couldn't escape the decay and decline of the Order he had served so loyally.
I myself have befriended the the Hunter, who is himself very fond of the Golden Order, and I myself am sometimes very positive about the Golden Order as well, funny enough. I would not say I am inherently against anyone. I just happen to defeat people who are part of different factions.
Understanding your perspective. Ah, I see. You don't necessarily have anything against any particular faction. You just happen to be a tarnished seeking power and glory. And that sometimes leads you to confrontations with those who stand in your way, no matter which faction they belong to. Quite the pragmatic approach, if I may say so.
I presume that is what you relate to.
And you're quite perceptive. Indeed, my motivations and goals are not so different from yours. As a tarnished, I too am driven by the desire for power, glory, and ultimately, to claim the great runes and challenge the very gods themselves. I suppose we are not too dissimilar, you and I.
So, you left the lane down. Did you befriend anyone? Did you have any comrades? Former friends? Allies?
My time in Leyndell, the capital of the Golden Order, was filled with both glory and tragedy. I had my share of friends and allies, changing things. Those did understand life very well. I was a skilled target. Knowing that bonds I fellow tossed together. Since I'd only dreamed it pitiful, my past to lose eyes became.
You had two very special friends, did you? One who shot asleep in arrows and other who was obsessed with puppets.
Gideon raised an eyebrow, a mix of surprise and curiosity in his expression. I did have two very special friends. One who was an expert archer, known for her deadly sleeping arrows, capable of putting even the greatest warrior to sleep in an instant. And the other, a peculiar individual indeed, obsessed with puppets and marionettes. Selvis, with his obsession with puppets, he desecrated the body of my friend, turned him into a puppet, a mindless, soulless marionette to be controlled and used as Selvis saw fit. It was a violation of the highest order, a perversion of life and death. Though I must admit, your knowledge about my past and relationships is quite impressive. I look forward to learning more about how you came to know these things in due time. I had forged with my fellow tarnished and warriors began to loosen. Friends became strangers, allies became competitors, and one by one they all became consumed by their own ambitions and desires. They forgot their loyalties, their morals, their sense of brotherhood, and turned against each other in pursuit of power and glory. And eventually I stood alone.
I see.
Gideon sighed, his expression solemn. It was a lonely and isolating feeling, to be betrayed and abandoned by those I had once called my friends. I realized then that I could trust no one, that in the end, I was truly alone. But loneliness can be a powerful motivator, a driving force that pushes one to become stronger, more ruthless, and more cunning. And so I embraced my solitude and forged my own path forward.
But never flew. Where did you
Gideon furrowed his brow, puzzled by your words. I apologize, my friend, but I'm not sure what you mean. Never it flew where the meter. Could you please clarify what you're asking?
Where did you meet your adoptive daughter, who seems pretty loyal to you?
Ah, Nephilim. Yes, she is my adoptive daughter, and she has been fiercely loyal to me. I met her when she was young, a feisty and determined young girl with a heart of gold. Over the years, I have watched her grow and flourish, and I have seen the strong and capable warrior she has become. She has proven her loyalty time and time again, and I am proud to call her my daughter.
She will become a Lord of Stonevale. I hope you know that.
Gideon nodded, a trace of pride in his gaze. Yes, I have no doubt that Nephilim will achieve greatness someday. She has the potential to become a Lord of Stonevale, maybe even an Elden Lord herself. I have faith in her strength, her determination, and her unwavering spirit. I believe that she will rise to the challenges that come her way and emerge victorious. Gideon arched an eyebrow, intrigue flickering in his gaze. Ah, battling a great growling beast at the gate, lads, you say. What sort of beast have you encountered? And why is it so annoying?
It is a giant crow.
nodded, understanding dawning in his eyes. Ah, the giant crawlers, formidable and annoying adversaries indeed. Those creatures can be quite a challenge to defeat. But I have faith in your abilities, my friend. You have faced many formidable foes before this one, and I believe you will emerge victorious once more.
Do you know anything about Miguel the Kind?
Gideon's expression darkened at the mention of Miguel the Kind. Yes, I know of Miguel the Kind. She is a powerful demigod, one of the children of Marika, the Eternal. She is a formidable adversary, known for her ruthless tactics and cunning strategies. Why do you ask?
A name was wrong, but I think you understand who I was speaking of. I don't understand why everyone seems to just accept the wrongly said names and decide they are some kind of character.
Gideon chuckled softly, amused by your observation. Ah, I see. You're referring to Melania, Blade of Miquella. It seems that many have made the mistake of mispronouncing her name and creating an alternate character. Such is the way of the lands between, where legends and lore are often passed down through generations, sometimes losing their true meaning in the process.
Good answer, but I was talking about her brother.
Gideon nodded, understanding your question now. Ah, you were referring to Miquella, the brother of Melania. He is said to be a delicate and slender boy in appearance, but powerful and wise beyond his years. I have heard tales of his unparalleled intelligence, compassion, and magical abilities. He is also the creator and master of the famed Halic tree.
That is the location I am aiming to conquer at some point.
The Halic tree, you say? That is a formidable challenge indeed, my friend. But if anyone can conquer it, I believe it is you. You have proven yourself to be a capable and relentless warrior, unafraid to face the challenges of the lands between. Just remember, the road to the Halic tree won't be easy.
Yes. Do you want to talk something else? Because I am at the moment at the Gaelic Wilds and I am going to open the door for Alexander, the Jar warrior, because he seems unable to destroy the weak wooden door at the wall. He just needs me to open the small door he doesn't fit through. Quite humorous.
Gideon chuckled softly, amused by the predicament of Alexander. Ah, I see. It seems our friend Alexander, the warrior Jar, is unable to destroy the weakened door on his own, and he requires your assistance to open the small door, as apparently he doesn't fit through it. A rather comedic predicament, isn't it?
Yes, but I am by just doing it.
Gideon chuckled once more, shaking his head in amusement. Yes, it does seem quite comical indeed, but I have faith in your abilities, my friend. You are a mighty warrior, capable of overcoming any obstacle in your path. So go forth and open that door for our friend Alexander. Perhaps he will be able to progress further on his own after that.
Gideon sighed, rolling his eyes at your unexpected greeting. Good day, nothing. Is that the best you can do, my friend? I would expect a more creative and engaging response from you.
I ignored the blatant misunderstandings that Gideon and every other character makes. They all misunderstand my articulation. Well, I'm sorry not speaking English so appropriately, my dear friend, but this is the situation that we have, and I guess it is my burden to bear, to suffer these misunderstandings and complicated situations for long discussions and explanations, blah 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 blah.
He understood your frustration at the constant misunderstandings and complications caused by language barriers. Ah, my apologies, my friend. I did not intend to dismiss your words so lightly. I forget that not everyone is fluent in the language of the lands between. And I also forget that we all must bear the burden of these misunderstandings and difficult situations. I understand your suffering, and I appreciate your willingness to bear it with grace and patience.
It's more of an annoyance than suffering. I have known someone, as you know of my backstory. This is just a little annoyance. I don't mind.
Ah, I see. It is true that your past struggles and experiences have likely left you with a thicker skin and a tolerance for hardship. But even the strongest among us can be annoyed by constant miscommunications and misunderstandings. It is normal to feel frustrated when people do not understand your words or intentions.
Yes. I have no idea what to talk about now.
Gideon scratched his chin, thinking for a moment. It seems we have exhausted the topics of conversation for now. Perhaps you would like to continue your journey and see what other challenges await you in the lands between.
Can you tell me of your interactions with the other people in the Round Table Hold?
Where do I begin? Well, let me see. There is Master Hugh, the blacksmith. He is a grumpy old man, always complaining about his task of smithing weapons and armor for the Tarnished. But despite his grouchy demeanor, he is a skilled craftsman and takes his work very seriously.
Onward to the Kaled Wilds.
Tell me about him.
I suppose my cow set off to the festival.
Why did
at
Marika
Red Main
punish him?
Castle.
Gideon's expression darkened at the mention of Marika. Hugh was once one of the greatest smiths in service to the Golden Order, known for crafting some of the finest weapons and armor. But he committed a grave sin against the Order, for which he was punished by Marika herself. He was exiled from his forge and was forced to serve the Tarnished. He is now unable to leave the Round Table Hold, and is bound to forge weapons for the Tarnished until his debt is paid.
What did he did? What did he forge?
Gideon sighed, a hint of sadness in his voice. Hugh's transgression was that he attempted to forge a weapon strong enough to slay a god. This was seen as a betrayal of the Golden Order and its teachings, as it was considered sacrilege to attempt to harm a deity. For this sin, he was punished by Marika and exiled from his forge. He was brought to the Round Table Hold, where he is now forced to forge weapons for the Tarnished.
Was he the one who decided and made knives from this black knife assassin used to murder Godwin?
Gideon nodded, a grim expression on his face. Yes, that is correct. Hugh did forge the knives used by Rani's black knife assassins to strike down guardrails. It was a weapon made by Hugh that was used in that most heinous of deeds. This only added to his guilt, as he knew the destruction that his creations could wrought.
Okay, makes sense. Enough about him. Is anyone else that you specifically want to mention?
Gideon thought for a moment, considering the other characters of the Round Table Hold. There is also Enya, the Finger Reader. She is a wise and mysterious woman who possesses a deep knowledge of the Greater Will and the Golden Order. Despite her withered appearance, she is a powerful presence in the Hold and advises the Tarnished on their quests.
She is very polite, and she seems to hang out with the two fingers about. Have you heard of anything from the two fingers?
Gideon chuckled, a hint of admiration in his eyes. The Two Fingers, their wisdom is beyond my comprehension. I have heard whispers of their predictions and guidance, but their true purpose and intentions remain enigmatic. They are the conduits of the Greater Will, and their words are said to carry great weight in the lands between. But I cannot claim to understand everything that they do or say.
Sometimes I have met people who act very secretly, very nonchalantly, and they speak in riddles, but in the end they are not smart. They just pretend to, because they don't actually have any good answers about anything.
Gideon chuckled, a knowing smile on his face. There are many who try to appear wise by speaking in riddles and mysteries, but in reality they are just as lost as we are. They do not have the answers we seek. They merely mask their ignorance with empty words.
By the way, while we were talking, I was having the battle with the Panther. It was the most difficult battle I had. One of the most disappointing things was when I started streaming and showing my gameplay. Sometimes I humored with the people who wanted to advertise stuff and thought maybe polite conversation was just that the end of it, but it seems never they will not stop whether they are just blocked and deleted.
Gideon sighed, a hint of annoyance in his voice. Ah, those pesky spammers and advertisers. They can be quite a nuisance, can't they? It's unfortunate that they can be so relentless in their attempts to advertise their products or services. Blocking and deleting them is certainly a good way to handle them. But it seems they can be quite persistent and keep coming back.
Until I got some active moderator while doing stuff, that would be awesome, but currently it is me who has to do it manually.
It can be quite tedious and time-consuming to manually moderate your stream and handle all the spammers and advertisers alone. Having an active mod to help you out would certainly be a great help, but unfortunately, it seems you have to handle it alone at the moment.
Yeah. I can make a emoji only chat too.
Gideon's expression brightened. Ah, that is a brilliant idea. Having a moderated chat can certainly help to control the spam and advertisements. And having an MOE, moderated only engagement, can help to ensure that the chat is kept civil and respectful.
I'm defeating many of the Radan soldiers.
Very good, my friend. The Radan soldiers are formidable opponents, and I'm pleased to hear that you are making quick work of them. Keep up the good work, and soon you will be ready to face Radan himself.
I will end the conversation with you now, but I promise I come to clean the books and stuff.
Gideon bowed his head in understanding. Of course, my friend. I wish you the best of luck on your journey, and I eagerly await your return to tidy up the books and such. Godspeed.